Welcome to New Orleans, the site of a game that will go down in history. For the first time ever, Duke versus North Carolina in the NCAA Tournament. The greatest rivalry in sports takes center stage in the Final Four.
I just desperately wanted this for them.
They've been terrific. I'm so proud of you guys.
I mean, you come to Duke looking to get to moments like this.
And just to have the fight and adversity just to get through all this, it was just special.
One coach aims to add to the legend. The other carves out a new one. Can Mike Krzyzewski walk away with a sixth title? Can Hubert Davis make his mark in his first season at the helm?
I can't believe the last time that we both been in the Final Four was when I was 20 years old in 1991.
This is one of 13 that have gone to a Final Four, so they're right up there.
257 matchups, decades of the game's greatest players going head-to-head. For number 258, the stakes reach an all-time high.
These kids want to play in games like this.
I think they're just dangerous.
I think it'll definitely be one of the biggest college games of all time.
40 minutes of game time to decide bragging rights for a lifetime. Make no mistake, this one goes way beyond basketball.
It's a pretty big week to be a Tar Heel.
It's back and forth, back and forth.
We're planning on wrecking his party one more time.
I already know Duke is going to prevail at the end of the day.
Carolina fans, loyal through and through.
I just want to go all the way and take them out with a blast.
Like, yeah, I'm so excited. Woohoo! I mean, it's amazing.
If this is the best rivalry in college sports, or perhaps all of American sports.
Forget the rankings, forget the records. This is the Battle of the Blues. Tar Heels, Blue Devils. Welcome to the madness. Welcome to the Final Four. It does not get any better than this. For the next 30 minutes, we are unpacking Duke versus North Carolina in the Final Four. Years of regular season games and ACC tournament matchups, but never in the big dance. There aren't many firsts in this 100-year-old rivalry, so this is huge. One coach in his first year, the other in his last. What happens in New Orleans will make history. No matter which way it goes, fans will never forget this one. Our team is live in New Orleans tonight following both Blue Bloods. They met fans who made the trip and talked to the teams as they prepare for the game of their lives. Let's start with WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson. Amanda, you've been on the road with the Blue Devils for the entire tournament. How are fans and the team feeling about tomorrow?
Chad, I've been following Duke throughout this entire thing, from Greenville to San Francisco and now to New Orleans. The players say they're locked in. They're not thinking about this matchup at all and who they're going against, their arch rival. As for the fans, they are all about this. They tell me this is the game they had to see, even if they're not Duke fans. We're still one day away from the big matchup, so I spent the morning walking around Bourbon Street. I found Steve DeGioia, who just loves all things basketball. His brother's a Duke fan, but yet Steve was the one who was behind this trip to New Orleans.
I called my brother and said we have to come because it's going to be Duke Carolina, but we got to buy tickets before the game happens. I said it's the greatest game ever played, and we were already at the greatest game ever played because we were at Duke, Kentucky in Philadelphia years ago. So I said we've got to be there for this. It's like basketball magic.
The brothers live in Charlotte. They say they got the last flight out, the last hotel room in the French Quarter. They were willing to do anything for this game, and they made sure they were prepared for that. Now, let's go send it out to Jalen Gilkey. He's also here in New Orleans with
me. Yeah, guys, I'm here at this year's March Madness Final Four Fan Fest, and right now I'm in the Bleacher Report Gaming Arcade, and I've been staring at this space all day, and my favorite game is Papa Shot. So my first victim is gonna be my man Rod. Rod, you ready to go? Let's go. We're gonna shoot it. Don't miss. Don't miss it, Rod. I'm telling you, you're not gonna beat me. I'm telling you, you're not gonna beat me. I'm telling you, you're not gonna beat me. Oh, my side, the side that fell off, my ball, bro. All the balls have fallen off my side. You still ain't gonna beat me, Rod. You still not. We down to 2 basketballs. This don't make no sense. That's it, Rod. I won, you lost. This is how I go. But that's it from the Fan Fest today. Actually, we got another hit coming up for you at 6 o'clock today. Having a whole bunch of fun. Met a whole bunch of people from all across our country. But now we're going to send it to Kevin Kennedy, who is also here in North Carolina, in New Orleans.
Jana, it looks like you're having quite the time out there. I'll tell you, North Carolina fans certainly having a good time as well. North Carolina Tar Heel fans turning Bourbon Street into kind of a Chapel Hill South, if you will. Certainly we've seen Kansas fans and Villanova fans and Duke fans, but it certainly seems like there are more North Carolina Tar Heel fans down here in the Big Easy than the other three schools. It certainly, as we've talked about, it's the biggest game that's going on for the past decade, maybe century, and North Carolina fans excited to actually finally see it. We spoke with several of those fans earlier today down in the French Quarter.
Huge game. I'm expecting a Tar Heel victory, but it's a big game. We'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, we're incredibly lucky to be here and super excited because it probably will be the biggest game of our career, and nervous too.
We're all excited. I mean, for her, it's live or die. I didn't go to Carolina; she did. So for her, they got to win. For me, it's for the whole experience. So I do love the Tar Heels, though.
Yeah, Michael's daughter, who we just heard from, is a senior at North Carolina. Both he and his daughter are down here. We're about 28 hours away from tip-off. Let the trash talking continue. Trust me, it's already started down here in the Big Easy. In New Orleans, I'm Kevin Kennedy, WFMY News 2.
Should be a fun one. Thank you, Kevin. This will be the third edition in the Battle of the Blues this season. They faced off twice in the regular season. The first game was in Chapel Hill at the Dean Dome. A.J. Griffin was the hero in this one. He brought in 13 points in the first half, 27 in the game. For the Tar Heels, Brady Manick put the team on his back. He notched 6 three-pointers, but Duke was dominant, winning it big, 87-67.
I mean, winning Carolina is always going to be big for Duke basketball, especially for it to be coach's last one here. Like I said before, we really want to do that more than anything for him.
Came out, I guess we thought it was going to be easy. I'm not sure, but we got punched in the mouth, and that's just what it was.
One of the things that I told them after the game in the locker room, I said that they're left with two choices. One of the choices is to stay down and whine and complain and point fingers and not get back up. The other choice is to get back up and start working and competing and fighting back.
And oh boy, did the Tar Heels come back. The second game this year was in Durham, Coach K's last game at Cameron Indoor. Emotions were running high during pregame ceremonies. The Blue Devils couldn't deliver between the buzzers. The Heels couldn't miss. Manick, Davis, Baycott, and Love all went for 20-plus points. North Carolina spoiled Coach K's final home game. He addressed the crowd shortly after.
I didn't realize that I would be doing it for 42 years at the place that I loved. And when you combine the coaching and the place in the city of Durham all together, you can't be any luckier than me.
A whole lot had to happen for these teams to face off for a third time this year. The Tar Heels knocking off a 1 seed and a Cinderella. The Blue Devils breaking down defenses in their toughest games of the year. Let's take a look back at how we got here.
The North Carolina Tar Heels open up first-round action against Marquette. North Carolina rolls to the 95-63 win.
Just really proud of them, not just today, but all season.
Duke ran all over Cal State Fullerton tonight.
We've won an NCAA game. These kids have won an NCAA game.
Duke's rival North Carolina against defending champion Baylor Bears. And this one's going to overtime. UNC survives an ejection and an impressive comeback by the Bears to advance to the Sweet 16.
You just had two teams that were fighting and scratching and kicking and clawing.
In the round of 32, we had a battle between two giants.
I mean, we got 4 minutes. We can either, lay down or we can, turn it up.
Down the stretch, Duke hit some big buckets to win it and advance to the Sweet 16. Texas Tech came out ready to play. It was a physical, hard-fought battle until the very end. Duke advances to the Elite Eight.
What a great group these kids have been. They've grown up so much in the last 12 days.
Their dance will last a little longer.
What a game. More importantly, what a win for the North Carolina Tar Heels.
I mean, our confidence never wavered. I mean, we knew even back then that we were this good of a team.
What a game it was for this team. They are on to the Elite Eight.
Duke just beat Arkansas to head to the Final Four. What a time for Duke basketball. Coach K is going to his 13th Final Four. Duke was the better team out there, pulling away.
During these last 4 games, they've been terrific. I'm so proud of you guys.
The Tar Heels beat St. Peter's to advance to their 21st Final Four.
Once I realized, we were really going to the Final Four, it started to sink in and definitely started getting emotional.
I am so happy right now.
Every single fan we spoke to also knows what lies ahead. Duke in the national semifinal.
Duke and North Carolina have never faced off in March Madness. That changes in the Final Four.
102 years of games between Duke and North Carolina, 257 matchups. The Tar Heels lead in the series with 142 wins, but in the last 100 games, it's much closer. 51-49 Blue Devils. The teams are just 35 points apart in that time. North Carolina has reached the Final Four 21 times. They've got 6 national titles as a result. As for Duke, they've been to the 17 Final Fours. 13 belong to coach Mike Krzyzewski. He's turned 5 of them into championships, trailing only UCLA's John Wooden, who had 10. Everyone knows this is Coach K's final season. He's got 1,202 wins, the most all time. Many consider him the greatest coach ever. He started at Duke in 1980 after spending 5 seasons at Army. He spent the next 42 years in Durham. He coached some of the game's greatest players and kick-started the careers of many current coaches, a model of consistency, a staple of college basketball.
It's an honor to be named head basketball coach at Duke. I've come from what I think is one of the greatest schools in the world, the United States Military Academy, to another school that I think is one of the greatest schools in the world, Duke University. We're going to incorporate the fast break. I think our team has good team speed. We feel we can be a competitive team every ball game that we play this year.
We've been really good. We've been one of the really good programs in the country for a long period of time. It was mine for 42 years, but it's Duke's forever.
Of course, we've got to talk about Hubert Davis. It is his first season as the Tar Heels head coach. He took over for Roy Williams after last season. His early success attributed to hard work and straight-up confidence. This is the picture he put up in the locker room at the beginning of the season, a photo of the Superdome in New Orleans, a constant reminder of the goal at hand. Before the season ever started, he doubled down with the players' parents.
He told all the parents back then to book hotels and a flight to New Orleans, and he was like dead serious too when he said it. And actually, some of my people's actually booked a flight, and when he said it at first, I'd be lying if I thought like automatically we would, go there. But once our talent and stuff, once we all got together and I saw a team, I knew we had the talent and was good enough to go.
Well, that probably gives you a sense of how Coach Davis carries himself. He believes in his guys, always has. That belief carried his Tar Heel team to the Final Four in 1991. Davis played at guard. He played 12 seasons in the NBA afterward, coached under Roy Williams for a few more years, and now he's the man at the helm.
Growing up, I had always wanted to walk out of that tunnel. I always wanted to put on that uniform, always wanted to play for Coach Smith, always wanted to play on this floor. And that's what this program is going to be about, and it has always been about. We're going to show up. We're going to show up. We're going to show up to shoot around. We're going to show up to practice. North Carolina is going to show up.
Both Coach Davis and Coach K showed up in the 1991 Final Four. It's the only other time Duke and North Carolina have been in a semifinal together. They just didn't play each other. At the time, 20-year-old Hubert Davis and the Tar Heels went up against Kansas. The Jayhawks coach, Roy Williams. Among Davis's many plays in the game was a three-pointer with 2 minutes to go in the half. Carolina couldn't get it done in this one, losing by 6. Coach K and the Blue Devils took on undefeated UNLV in the 1991 Final Four. Grant Hill, Christian Laettner, and Bobby Hurley eked out a win, advancing to the final by just 2 points. The Blue Devils would go on to win the title against Kansas. It was Coach K's first national championship, a moment that put Duke in the spotlight and gave North Carolina a serious challenger.
And so it suddenly thrust that Duke program to the pinnacle. Now we've been talking for decades about how Duke and Carolina, when they play, are at the pinnacle to begin with. There's an incredible cliche that's current now. It's called, we're at an inflection point.
There is a big difference between these shades of blue, and both have history behind them. We find out where these colors originated. Plus, meet the people who bleed blue. Their stories of super fandom coming up. Even without the logos, you know exactly what these shades of blue represent. So why these shades, and how did this all start? Let's start with Carolina. For them, the blue dates back to the 1700s. Students created debate societies. One side wore blue, the other wore white. When the school got sports in the 1800s, the two sides came together.
When we're out on the athletic fields or the courts, we are one university. We're not two separate societies with different colors. So they took the white and the blue and made those the official colors of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill.
The official color morphed over the years, but if you want to be true Carolina blue, it's Pantone color 542C. Now on to the Duke blue. That story starts in Randolph County when the school was known as Trinity College. A deep dark blue showed up in an early football game against North Carolina. It popped back up in the 60s when the school tried to formalize commencement robes.
In our archives, the one thing we do have on record is this is the genesis of Prussian blue. Those Prussian robes, actually, they are still in use in commencement exercises today.
Duke Navy remains the blue of academics. For athletics, it's a bit different. It's Duke Royal blue. That's what you see on jerseys and all the apparel. There is one more piece to this historic matchup that we cannot forget: the fans. Meet some of the diehards who make up the greatest rivalry in sports. Next. The story of this historic Final Four isn't complete without the fans, people who've followed the teams forever, the fans who've always tuned in, who always show up. The fans who bleed blue are the lifeblood of this rivalry.
I will be in New Orleans in the Caesars Superdome in the student section watching the game.
This is a huge Saturday, and I wish my dad was still alive to see this, because this was something that he hoped to see, you know, in his lifetime.
I'd stay up late and watch Phil Ford when he'd come down the floor with them four fingers up. He knew the game was over with. We've traveled. I have a map with Carolina Blue push pins in it. We've been to 22 different stadiums.
My whole family, they're Carolina fans. So I decided to be the underdog and represent Duke.
I was pregnant with my second child, Adam, in 1989. So at one point, I thought Carolina was going to pull it out, and I jumped up and came back down and my water broke.
This is the inside of the tent. It like encapsulates the Duke experience, like being out here with all my friends.
I put more work into this than some of my actual classes. Oh my god, it was amazing. This is my first college basketball game, so I'm just hyped up to be here. It's awesome. I'm so glad I can be here.
To make it to the Final Four, it's like, yeah, I'm so excited. Woohoo! I mean, it's amazing.
I'm a Duke alum, 2001, so I've been at Cameron Indoor Stadium. I just want to go all the way and take them out with a blast.
We are going to have to respectfully part ways for that game.
We have to watch games separately, so yeah, that way we don't get on each other's nerves or do too much trash talking.
Husband keeps saying, Pam, aren't you going to throw away that cookie? And I just can't do it. But I have a picture of my son with Roy. I just couldn't throw it away.
There's so much history and like nostalgia and importance with this game, with the rivalry, with everything.
Tomorrow is so much more than a game. People spend their lives rooting for Duke or North Carolina. They fly flags, wear jerseys, and spend weekends on the hallowed grounds in Durham and Chapel Hill. They've got neighbors on both sides of the rivalry, but they're neighbors nonetheless. Though the passions are painted separate shades of blue, Tar Heels and Blue Devils share similar standards: a sense of community, a love for their team, and disdain for the other, but also an ability to shake hands at the end of the day. Those values will be on display this weekend, and we can't wait to watch it happen. Thanks for joining us. WFMY News 2 at 6 is next.